So for Monday Nights Live, you know what it is. It's You Tell Me with your man Dukes the Scoop, checking in with Uncle Neely from the Pregame Show Network. Got approaching about 300 or so watching us live. Y'all make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell. Also subscribe to both channels because we're checking in on Big Dog Chico's network as well. It's time for You Tell Me, Scoops. I got one for you. I got one for you. Because you know it's always that moving goalpost when Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffs accomplish something. So let me hit you with some numbers.
Okay.
Oklahoma State, they scored 35 points against BYU.
Mm-hmm.
They scored 28 against Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
They scored 21 against Arizona State. They scored 13 against TCU. They even scored 48 against Texas Tech. They scored 0 against Colorado. You tell me, is Rob Livingston's defense just that damn good?
Man, the proof is in the pudding. Let me tell you something. It is so hard to take a college football, a Power 4 football team to Dunkin' Donuts. And that means you got a donut, a big old circle, a 0, a shutout. Is so impressive. And I think that rebounding from the game against Kansas, tackling, gang tackling, bringing your arms when you tackle. And I always talk about that, but you know, sometimes you're not. Sometimes the situation doesn't present itself for you to bring your arms. Colorado, they literally came out, played with their hair on fire on defense, and Rob Livingston being able to make adjustments. Ollie Gordon, who I talked about as a 6'2", 225-pound running back who had preseason Heisman hype, he couldn't get started. And I think that Colorado did such a great job. And I think it's not even just the job they did last week. It's how they rebounded from a lackluster performance. And I just that goes to coaching. And I think Rob Livingston, I think Coach Prime, I know that had to be an uncomfortable conversation after that Kansas game. And I think the way that Coach Livingston responded was excellent. And, I just think it shows that the program is in good hands going forward. All right, you tell me, same question. What you think?
Yeah, I love your response. I look at it the same way, from my vantage point. I think that what happened in Kansas, it didn't even take an uncomfortable conversation with the head coach. I think Rob Livingston looked in the mirror, had an uncomfortable conversation with himself. I think the position coaches on the defense did the same thing, had an uncomfortable conversation, with themselves. And that's adjacent in addition to the one they had with their boss, the head coach. So I think they came out, more focused. I think they came out to prove, statistically and domination wise who they really were. And the focus was on stopping the run. Like the focus was, before we even go for a sack, we're going to make sure that they know that they can't run the ball on us. And here you have Ollie Gordon was approaching a record season, school record, personal record, all those things. And just like you said, just could not get going because his defensive line was so dominant. I think it's just, you talk about proof in the pudding. I think the proof is just what Coach Prime said when he made the hire, that y'all got to stop looking at what somebody's title was and look at what the job they were actually doing. Because some people's titles, may be in a certain slot, but what they actually responsible for is more than that. And he clearly did his homework on Rob Livingston, clearly made some calls around the league and got advice, and everybody had the good things to say about him. Rob Livingston came in, did his damn thing with the interview and what he would do to make changes. And when you look at this defense, before that Kansas game, giving up 100 yards less per game than this time last year, and to pitch a shutout, like you said, let me tell the folks out there something, Dukes. They've heard me say this before, and I'm gonna keep on saying it. Winning in college football is so damn hard that you get a bowl game just by winning 50%. You win 6 games, you get gifted with a bowl game because winning is hard. And when you look at that, I don't care what kind. Sometimes, man, you just get to where I can't figure this out. Like help me out. I'm trying to understand, dudes, what the hell is going on. So that's the name of this partnership. You tell Monday night. You tell me. Yeah. You tell me. Another one. You tell me. You tell me. Got 245 already watching live. We're on the way, baby.
You tell me.
On the way on a Monday night.
On Mondays. You tell me. Live on Monday.
Yeah, Deuce to Scoop, Dirty Birds.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I don't mean no disrespect to the Colorado population, Denver, all that, but man, hey, for real Atlanta, man. I mean, I can't help it.
Hey, peace up, ATL down. That's what it is.
Yeah.
How you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. It's been a great day, an exciting day, hearing some good stuff about the transfer portal. All across the country. Colorado's involved as well. It's just a good day in college football, man. Seeing guys get a second chance with the opening of the transfer portal, and I just think exciting. Got Heisman. It's a lot going on, man. We know where Colorado is going. I'm happy, man. How about you? How you doing?
Man, I'm the same way, man. Too blessed to be stressed on this side of the dirt, so you're doing anything that won't hurt. They said, hey, he didn't say it wouldn't hurt. He just said it wouldn't prosper. They're gonna form. They're gonna come at you, but they're not gonna win. You're gonna get some nicks and bruises, but you're gonna come out on the other side. Just keep walking into the storm. Hey, man, we got a special episode tonight of You Tell Me live on Monday nights with Uncle Neely and Deuce Scoop. The reason it's so special, one, brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. You ever tried to get a ticket to an event? I don't care if it's a comedy show, a football game, a basketball game. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a ticketed event and it's hard to find or hard to get into, join up with our friends over at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create you an account, and if you use the code BUFFS, we're taking $20 off your first purchase when you create your account and buy you some tickets. You get to see where your seats are, what they look like, no hidden fees, none of that. Get with Game Time when you're trying to get in, man. When you're trying to get in, get with Game Time. Did you use Game Time this weekend? I know you're sweet. I know your seats got sweeter and sweeter. I saw you out there.
Yeah. I use Game Time, dog. Man, it's crazy. So my partner, if you on Instagram, go look at Ticket Jerry. That's his name, Ticket Jerry. If you need tickets to any event in the country, you hit Ticket Jerry. I hit Ticket Jerry. We go way back. I call him Big Jerry. I'm like, Jerry, hey, dog, I got some front rows for $400 a pop. He said, dude, you better take them. I ain't finna beat that. You better buy them. I got them and get to the game. Use the Game Time. Use the Buffs app. It cut my money off. Excuse me. It gave me the discount. And then I get Cam in the game. This man gonna say, yeah, Dad, I like the seats and all, but did you realize you got him on the Texas side? I said, bro, you lucky we even got here. I could have tackled that boy, man. He's so entitled, man. And man, we looked up, dog. And my partner had 2 tickets on the other side, on the Georgia side. So I got to take him over there. He had fun. But outside of that, but the Game Time app, all of that and some, man. And you know what I did? I did the one where it said all in. So it tells you, it tells you how much your tickets are. It ain't like you said, no hidden fees. So I was able to prepare for the hit that came with them tickets because I saw what it was. And no, absolutely, man. I think the Game Time app is all of that.
Man, one of the things I love about it, I got it set where the app is running in the background as far as your location goes, and it will give you updates on events that's in your area and let you know when ticket prices are changing or falling or going up. And so you get a little notification going, hey, like when I'm in Boulder, I get a notification like, hey, the average Lakers Nuggets tickets just dropped $10. You might want to log in and look, So it's a pretty damn cool app to be a part of. The other big news we got tonight.
Mm-hmm.
See, I had to pause right there. I had to do that dramatic pause. The other big news we got tonight. We're not only streaming right now on the Pregame Show Network. We're not only streaming right now on Big Dog Chico channel. We're streaming right now on Dukes the Scoop channel as well. So y'all make sure that when this is over, if you're not watching it right now because you didn't know, you make sure you go subscribe to Dukes the Scoop channel. Make sure you hit the likes and notifications over there because we're going to build and blow that channel up as well. We're going to hit them with that triumvirate, that 3-pronged spear, that trident. We coming. We coming 8-ball MJG, baby. We coming in with 3 ways.
Man, and for everybody that don't know, let me tell you, we gotta do the praise report.
And on this one, man, I just want to talk about how Uncle Neely and Chico, they really gave me the game as far as what I needed to do, like to get my own. Not because I wasn't like, hey, I wasn't beating the dough down. They telling me, hey, dude, you need to do your own thing, bro. Like, you literally got to go in here and figure out how to kind of monetize yourself. He said, you doing everything. This is Uncle Neely. Uncle Neely said, man, you doing everything for everybody else, but what you doing for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And it couldn't. And then Chico came. He said, "Nah, whatever you need, we're gonna help you, dude." And shoot, they pushed me to this, to be honest. And I think, man, as brothers, this is this is so important. And it's somebody that, like, we always talk about a hand up, not a handout. And I think this is one of those hand ups where I appreciate it to the point where it's like, dang, man, like y'all really showed me something that I wouldn't have known where I could turn money over. You feel me? And so my content is going to be wide ranging. You're going to see Chico over there. You're going to see Uncle Neely over there. It's going to be a wide range of content. And, man, I'm just excited about it, man. So thank you for everybody that goes to subscribe to the Dukes to Scoop channel. There's some old stuff on there, and I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all go back first when you say appreciate that love. Because hey, man, one of the things in life, you either working on your dream or you working on somebody else's. You know, it's just, it ain't no two ways about it. It ain't nothing wrong with working on somebody else's when you're cognizant of that, when you're aware of that. But, you know, a lot of times we'll defer our own dreams to work on somebody else's. So this is one of those spaces when it comes to content creation, 24 hours in a day, man, we can all help each other blow up and grow up. And so the link is in the chat right now. You'll see the comment as the Pregame Show Network. And just hit that link, go over to Duke to Scoop page. Make sure you subscribe over there. Y'all can watch over there. You can like over there, turn the notifications on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now, Dukes, it's time for You Tell Me, man. We just hit 400 live watching, and that's just, you know, probably way upwards than all the channels combined. So we got our first You Tell Me. It is official. You know, black folks, we don't say official, official. It is official. Heisman finalist Travis Hunter, but Shedeur Sanders is not a finalist. Shedeur, of course, nobody can stop him from going to New York and attending and supporting his friend, teammate, and brother. But Shedeur is not a finalist in the Heisman, but Travis Hunter is. You tell me, Deuce to Scoop, what more could Shedeur have done to become a finalist for the Heisman Trophy?
Bronze himself and make himself the Heisman. Do like this and make himself. That's all. That's the only thing else he could have did was to be the Heisman himself. Like, if they called it a Shedeur, that's the only other thing he could have done. He did everything. He had the stats. He made the yards, the touchdowns, taking care of the football, completion percentage, the wins. I mean, you won as many games as the Heisman, as the leading Heisman candidate. He was a leader on and off the field. He backed up everything he said. He was the catalyst in order to make sure that Colorado got to where they were going, even with all the talent that was around him. Shedeur lifted the play of the entire team. There was nothing else he could have done besides change his last name. I'm going to say it. You know, somebody else just said it too. Legally change his last name. I mean, it would have been too much like right, dog. So with that being said, no, I mean, you know, the moment, I hate that he's being robbed of this moment, but I also realize that it's just only going to make him stronger, and it's only going to fuel him to do more and more. And and I think it's going to light a fire under everybody who comes after him in Colorado, that you can ride for Shedeur. Like, he's the guy who doesn't need who he has everything, right? He's athletically gifted, smart, great upbringing, all of that stuff. But we can ride for Shedeur on this one because he was being mistreated. So, man, we can put the little slide up, slide for Shedeur, man. Make sure that people know that he belonged to be there. He deserved to be there. He belongs. And he had a Heisman worthy season. I absolutely believe that. What you think?
Yeah, I'm like you and the brothers and sisters in the chat. You know, first and foremost, last name just can't be Sanders because that's all it is. It's really just a ripple effect of the hate on Coach Prime and the Coach Prime effect, whether that is Jackson State, you know, or Colorado. So it's first and foremost that. You know, the Heisman Trophy is supposed to go to the best player in college football, and that includes on and off the field. And I don't think you can get any better than on the field and off the field than you can with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. I think it is Travis Hunter's trophy to win. He should be the Heisman Trophy winner. but Shedeur as a teammate and competitor and also a person with the right numbers should have been sitting there just as well. He just won the Golden Arm Award, the Johnny Unitas Award. And, you can look at this a couple of ways, Dukes to Scoop. There is no doubt in my mind that the Heisman Trophy goes to the best player in college football, and that is Travis Hunter. But you also have to have space on that dais for the most valuable player in college football, and that is Shedeur Sanders. I've often said with you on You Tell Me and other platforms that if you take away Travis Hunter from the Colorado Buffaloes, some of those touchdowns just go to LaJohntay Wester or Will Shepherd. Some of those pass breakups go to DJ McKinney or Carter Stottmeyer. If you take Shedeur Sanders off of the Colorado Buffaloes, we offer. We offer. We don't win a single game without Shedeur Sanders. It's just that plain and simple. There is not a game this season that we would have walked out of that stadium home or away with a W if we don't have Shedeur Sanders. And when you look at his passing percentage, his completion percentage, he may have been second in touchdowns and third in yardage or vice versa. But when you look at that completion percentage, you look at the low number of interceptions, the way he kept his team in the game and brought them back in games, and never once was he the reason the team was in trouble. Like a lot of guys who are going to be sitting on that platform, they may have had some heroics, but they were the very person that gave up, 2 pick sixes or something. Shedeur Sanders never put his team in trouble. I really do believe that he's deserving of the Heisman Trophy, so he should have been there as a nominee and a finalist, although Travis should be the winner of it, just for what he's doing, never seen before on both sides of the ball. But I will say this too. Neither of these guys went to Jackson State, transferred to Colorado, to win the Heisman. They did those things to be winners on and off the field. They did those things, to go to the NFL, and both of them will be top 5 draft picks, 1 and 2 in the draft. So that's where they're going to prove the world wrong. That trophy is one thing. I hate they're missing it for the history of it, like Travis not getting the Thorpe, not being a finalist for that, Shedeur not being a finalist for the Heisman, because 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, those kind of memories matter. But the real memory is going to be what they do in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think it's going to be sweet revenge. Like, you're going to see him be drafted number 1 overall. And he won't be thinking about it. It's just like Coach Prime said, man, he got his he got his Thorpe somewhere in the garage somewhere, man. Like, he ain't gonna be studying it after he has the career that he has. But it also, you don't want to take away from Travis's moment, but you also have to acknowledge Shedeur. For sure, he should have been there. Travis knows it, everybody knows it. And I think there's some bias there. You like Dylan Gabriel's having a great year. They're undefeated. And if it wasn't, I'll say this. If Travis Hunter wasn't there, then Shedeur would have been there. But they just said, "Oh, you can't have 2 from there," and that's that's what it is. Dean Franklin, what's up, Dean? Yep.
Yeah, I agree. That was the thought process, and I just think that's the wrong thought process. For me, if you're inviting 5 people and all of them from the same team, if they're the best 5, so be it. If you're inviting 3 people and 2 of them from the same team, so be it. Just get it right. It's almost like the Thorpe Award. We can sit here and debate back and forth whether or not Travis should win it, but there's no debate that he shouldn't have been a finalist. Yeah. And so that's the same thing with Shedeur. You have some people out there who are pro quarterback and believe Shedeur should be ahead of Travis in it, and that's rightly so their opinion. But there's no debating that he should be invited or not invited because he's that worthy of it. And sometimes, man, we start, what we call it in the barbershop in the hood, we call it pocket watching. You're trying to look at somebody's success by counting their bread. And so for us to even have a narrative out there, rightly so that you defined it, that people saying, oh, well, Colorado can't have 2 people in it. Well, damn, if 2 people worthy, they should be in it. And these 2 guys are absolutely, worthy. And I'll say this to it, with all due respect to what the running back has accomplished, when you look at the 5 leading rushers in college football, Barry Sanders being number 1, New Kid being number 5, go look at those people in the middle. They didn't win the Heisman. Now, if you go look at the people who did what Travis did, Charles Woodson, even though they didn't do it to the level Travis did, Desmond Howard, like they won it.
Right.
And so when we get to New York next weekend, man, gonna be interesting to see then if they do the right thing and hand that thing to Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I tell you what, they talk about furniture moving. There's gonna be some buildings moving, man. Listen, they don't need them type of problems in America today, man. They don't need them type of issues, man. They talk about what, and don't let me get the political, man. They talk about storming the Capitol, but they go, hey, whatever it's gonna, what Carnegie Hall, what's the building name? I forgot the building.
I don't know
Wherever
which building you're doing it in.
Hey, look, it'll be sideways. I know how the Colorado people get down. Hey, man, what was the cartoon, not the cartoon, the video game back in the day where King Kong and Godzilla was climbing up the side, they was knocking down buildings.
Rampage. Yeah, Rampage.
Hey, Bevo, not Bevo. What's my man? The Colorado Buffalo. He'll be going up the side of that thing.
Ralph up there kind of tearing it up.
Yeah, man. Right. Hey, man, bro. I'm telling you, that'd be the worst thing that can happen. Is if they don't give it to him, bro. Because at the end of the day, if they don't give it to him, the statement is being made more than anything. The statement is, we just not rocking with y'all. That's the statement that they're saying. You know what I mean? It ain't about, is Travis Hunter worthy? A blind man can see that.
Mm-hmm.
What it's about is, are we going to give it to Travis? Are we going to reward Colorado for doing it their way? We told Deion he shouldn't be playing Travis Hunter this much. You can't play a guy 150 snaps. You can't do that. Travis Hunter shouldn't be going to Jackson State. He's the number one player in the country. Oh, he shouldn't be following Deion to Colorado, Coach Prime to Colorado. He should go to Florida State. He's already done the HBCU thing. So why is he going there? Everything about this in the opinion of those people who don't feel like Coach Prime and what he represents college football, what Travis Hunter has accomplished goes against everything that they could fathom with their minds. And so, and we always talk about this. When people don't understand how something happens, they're either afraid, and then after the fear comes the anger. So they're mad. So when you got people who are upset that he's being this successful, that's the only way that they're going to take this. It won't be not. It won't even be. It won't be that he didn't win it. It'll be that they took it. This would be a physical taking of something to say, y'all ain't made it that far yet. No. So we're gonna watch and see, are they gonna shake this country up the way, like when you talk about the Jason Whitlocks and folks like that, they can't wait. Somebody, I can't stand it. Like, and I know for a fact that that's what that's going to signify. So I'm praying that they do the right thing.
Yeah, and one of those layers you touched on there. Well, I don't care if it's the Heisman or what award it is. You don't have a situation where the athlete is so associated with the head coach like you do at Colorado. You know, you look at, say, a Cam Ward down there at Miami. No one knows why he chose Miami as far as just lay of the land conversations in general. Well, everybody knows Travis Hunter went to Jackson State because of Deion Sanders. Everybody knows Travis Hunter went to Colorado because of Coach Prime. Everybody knows Shedeur Sanders went to Jackson State because of Deion Sanders. Everybody knows he went to Colorado because of Coach Prime. And for Coach Prime to have that kind of magnetism, and that magnetism turn into national awards with the S, turn into a Heisman Trophy, there's some folks I can't stand it, man. The old guard, the old regime, the old way of recruiting, the old way of where coaches don't look like the players that they coach. They scared of that, man. Like they flat out scared of this. Like when Travis Hunter wins this trophy as a student athlete at the University of Colorado, that flat out happened because of Coach Prime's drawing power and Travis Hunter's ability. Another guy wins it at another school, is just chalked up to the kid's ability. And what they try to do is just limit and block what Coach Prime gets credit for, because they know once that thing gets rolling and it's rolling, they can't compete with it or stop it.
Absolutely. And he's not going to be the last one. Trust me. He's going to be the last one.
No. No, Willie Simmons, shout out to Willie Simmons, just got on the FIU. You know, came from the SWAC, was a head coach at FAMU, Prairie View, was a coordinator at Alcorn. Went to left FAMU as head coach, went to be running back coach at Duke for a year, and now is head coach at FIU with a 4-year deal in his backyard in Florida. Wishing Willie Simmons the absolute best, because he's from that prime kind of visionary as far as making young men professionals on and off the field. So you're gonna get some Willie Simmons hate in the next couple of months. Be ready for it.
Yeah, man. So I think it's on me. So you tell me, what should BYU be expecting from the Colorado Buffaloes in the Alamo Bowl?
BYU should expect it to feel like an away game. Bowl games are neutral sites, but I think Buff Nation and the prime effect is going to have the Alamo Bowl looking like Folsom Field. I think that our fan base is going to travel. I think that the folks in that Texas market, all the way over to Louisiana, even Mississippi, are going to be there, by the bus loads and plane loads as well. So I think it's going to feel like a home game for us and an away game for them. I think, and then when you get to the game itself, when you look at what they're averaging, and they're a tough team now, they make people conform to what they do if you look at how they're playing style. But when you look at what their quarterback is averaging and what ours is and what they average on the ground and what we do defensively as far as stops what they do, all we got to do is be ourselves. So I think that BYU should expect the team to play like they play at Folsom and expect the crowd to be like it's at Folsom. And if we hit those numbers, if Shedeur gets his averages, and even with the run game not being as strong, if it gets its averages and our defense gets the stops that it's been getting, there's really not a lot of folks in the country that can even begin to compete with Colorado. So I think BYU, they have an excellent coaching staff. They know what to expect. They've seen the film. They've watched us play. We didn't get to play each other in the regular season, but they know what they are running into. What you see? You tell me.
I think they about to air it out. If they're not ready to throw, if BYU doesn't want to go to their part of the offense where they air the ball out, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day anyway. But you better believe they better get ready for 500 for Shedeur. I'm calling it. That's my shot. I think Shedeur goes out with a bang. They only made him more mad. So while he'll be in New York, I'm sure, to support Trav. But on the flip side of that, he's gonna be thinking about, I got one more chance to stick it to y'all. And I think and I'm not sure that he does it for anybody else, but I know for a fact he's somebody that loves to prove people wrong, and he believes in what he believes in, and he believes in himself first and foremost. So I know for a fact Shedeur is about to go off, and he wants to pass the chicken around to his partners that'll be in the East-West Shrine Bowl with him. One last ride with his senior receivers. They are about to throw this ball around like we back in the playground, and I'm excited to see it. And I think that this probably is going to be that last real look against real competition for Shedeur Sanders as he continues to cement his status as the #1 overall prospect for the NFL draft.
Yeah, I think you nailed that, man. That's one thing that folks got to peel back a layer of that onion and get a little deeper in there as you're setting and establishing. Shedeur Sanders is fine. Shedeur Sanders doesn't throw a single pass in his game, and he's the first pick in the draft. But what Shedeur Sanders knows, this is a final opportunity, to put on for the city and get his bros on as well. Like Jimmy Horn will be healthy and has missed several games. You're going to see some Jimmy Horn packages. Like Shedeur is going to make sure that Jimmy Horn eats. Same thing like what Wester been eating. And, of course, everybody want to see for one last time some kind of Shedeur-Travis connection, which might even be a connection of Travis to Shedeur. They might flip that thing. So I think it's going to be a show. I think it's going to be entertaining. But you're exactly right. It's going to be a one last opportunity for these guys to go out together, and I think they're going to put the best foot forward. And having said that, what a wonderful opportunity if you play for BYU to show who you are. So just as much as if I'm Shedeur and I'm trying to get the ball to Jimmy Horn, who's ever checking the man out the slot, this is your time to stop Jimmy Horn and get your shine on and make people know your name. So I think this is going to be one of the more competitive bowls as far as effort, intensity that you see from players, because you got on one side of the field the Colorado Buffaloes, trying to go out with a bang, and you got BYU, who's like, man, the world is watching right now. We got undivided attention. We got 7:30, p.m. ABC. Ain't nobody watching nothing else but this right now. Like, you damn right, I want to pick off Shador. You damn right, I want to hit a big tackle on Michael. Like, they're gonna bring their A game, and they would, and their coach is gonna have them boys up for it.
Absolutely, and I'm willing to go out on a limb, which ain't far that much of a limb, but I guarantee you this is going to be the most watched Alamo Bowl in Alamo Bowl history. Period.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The prime effect is real, man. You're gonna have eyeballs on the game on TV. The attendance is going to be higher than before because even people in their metro San Antonio area who've never probably bought a ticket and attended the Alamo Bowl, are going to be in the game because they just want to see, these quote unquote celebrities. Like Coach Prime is a celebrity. He has accomplished things that are worthy of celebration. Shador and Travis are celebrities. The way you've gotten to know the other players, from the internal and external networks in Colorado, they have become celebrities. And people want to come for the show. And, keep in mind now, you got a lot of people there that want to see Colorado win, but you're going to have a hell of a lot of people there that want to see them lose too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But either way, they bought a ticket.
Yeah. Well, for the folks who want to see them lose, you know what people in HE double hockey sticks want.
Oh yeah, water. Deuce Scoop, I got one for you, man. This is Monday. We live, and on this particular Monday, the transfer portal opened, and no one knows recruiting and portal impact to the degree of my man Chop Kick, Deuce the Scoop. Tell us, my brother, you tell me, what's the good, bad, and the ugly of the portal?
I think the good is you can give athletes a second lease on life when it comes to college football, where there in the previous years you were penalized basically if you wanted to go somewhere else within conference and you had to sit out for a year. And even then, a coach could say, I'm not going to clear you to transfer to this amount of schools. You can only go to these schools, so we don't have to play against you. Well, now is the rabbit has the gun, so to speak. So now the players can say, hey, I'm not happy here. I need to go somewhere where I can play more, things of that nature. Or you guys aren't giving me any NIL. I got to go do something else. Shout out to my boy Leon Thomas, straight dog. He's a nickelback out of Charleston Southern. But the bad of it is sometimes you got players who overplay their hand and they jump in the portal and can't find a home. And so now when you look at revenue share where there's going to be a certain number and the walk-on program is going away, there are going to be so many guys getting into the portal that it also is going to make people have to make decisions on guys who may have been borderline Power 4 guys, where those guys are now pushed to a group of 5, and the group of 5 guys are now pushed to FCS. And the biggest problem, and the ugly part of it with the transfer portal is guys who traditionally would have gotten a shot as a quote unquote 3-star or borderline guy who would have got a shot in Power 4 out of high school. Now those guys aren't getting those scholarships because high school recruiting is affected because people have to hold scholarships in order to make sure they have scholarships available for the transfer portal. So that's the ugliest part of it, of how it affects guys in high school who want scholarships and want to play at the next level, who may not have the size or the speed. So now you can have a great guy with great production. And now those guys who usually would have gotten a chance, now you got to go size, speed, and you have to be super, super exceptional in those two categories now because you can't take a gamble because each visit, each scholarship is so important with this limited number. So now those guys are having to go prove it at a smaller school and go jump in the portal if they can do it. And I think it's ugly because now guys are going to schools with the whole intention of, I'm going to go here, I'm going to ball out, and I'm going to get in the portal. Their mindset from day one is the portal because they're going to places that usually or that they were conditioned to not think that they had to go to. And this may be the best place for them, but their eyes are always set on this. It's almost like being in a relationship with somebody who's already looking for their next relationship. You never get that partnership because the transfer portal, that's the ugly part of it. So I love the freedom for the athletes. I think that's the good. The bad is the fact is when people overplay their hand, but the ugly is when it affects high school recruiting. What do you think about it,
Yeah, man. Grown ass man stuff right there. And coming from another grown ass man, ain't nothing like freedom, and freedom ain't free. You know, I love the fact that I can cross the street.
Yeah.
But it's on me to look both ways for traffic, because you will get your ass hit by a car if you just think, well, they said I can cross the street, I'm just gonna walk out here. And I think a lot of young people, you know, have been blessed with the opportunity of choice, but don't take the patience to make the right choice. And then what was a gift to you of freedom, you know, becomes a burden or a yoke around your neck because you get stuck. You know, having said that, I love the portal. I'm in favor of the portal, and I think the portal overall is a good thing for college football and even the individual student athletes as well as the programs. You know, gone are the days where you transferred, as you said, you got punished because you had to sit out a year, or unless you transferred down, that's the only way you could play. But I think you have a lot of folks who don't do enough homework and really don't understand their true value. And you really have to have a good assessment. You got to have somebody you trust, you know, that can tell you where you really stand in the world of college football, because you can look in the mirror and easily have some delusions of grandeur. You know, I don't care if it's us doing this show. It's one thing for us to look at it and think it's a great show, and then somebody else can watch it and come up with 15 things we need to get better at. You know, it's the same thing in college football. And so the other thing that I don't think kids, student athletes are aware enough of, and you're going to get this at Colorado under Coach Prime, it ain't just all talent, man. Like, you have to fit. You have to fit the culture there. You have to fit the working relationships that you're merging into. Like, this is a high speed interstate, and you're merging in, and you got to be able to keep up with not just the speed, talent, that kind of stuff. Keep up with the culture and the way things are done. And you may be coming from a program, you know, that didn't prioritize those things that are a priority at this program. So coaches know, man, it's buyer beware out there. These are used cars, and so they're gonna check under the hood. They're gonna look under the seats. They're gonna get the Carfax. They're gonna take the spare out the trunk and see if any water left in there because the car was in a flood or something. They're doing all those things. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, as you said, coaches know now, man, I'm holding back scholarships. Scholarships now are like money in the NFL when it comes to the salary cap. I can't exhaust it all because somebody could get hurt, somebody could leave, somebody could retire. I need to be able to sign somebody in case. And so you're going to have those in case of scholarships being held back, which the ripple effect of that, Dukes, to the high school kids is that, man, you live in a world now, to the moms and dads out there and high school athletes watching, when you get offered, you got to think long and quick about taking it right now, because it ain't gonna be worth nothing 10 days from now, 15 days from now, 2 weeks from now, because the value diminishes as the portal open and more experienced people at your position are becoming available. So I think all in all, man, the portal is an absolute good thing for college football. I think Coach Prime knows how to work it and balance it with his high school recruits, you know, and his experienced players coming in. And one thing that's going to constantly make news right now in the days to come, there are going to be people leaving Colorado as well. So I would challenge the fan base out there, or even the haters who want to just comment on who's leaving. Look at who's leaving, their production. Look at who's coming in and their production, and look at the net difference.
All right. I got a good one for you, huh? So since we're in transfer portal time right now, who was your transfer portal MVP of last year's cycle for the Colorado Buffaloes?
Ooh, that's a damn good one. Woo! Man, you had made me lean back a second. You had to make me lean back. Let me buy some time. Shout out to over 1,000 people watching on all three channels. Almost 1,200 we got looking at this on all three channels combined. Y'all make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. Make sure you are subscribed to Big Dog Chico, to the Pregame Show Network, and to Deuce the Scoop as well. Shout out to Game Time, the sponsor. Go create you an account. Use that code BUFFS. We're going to take $20 off your first tickets. Now, to answer your "you tell me" question, I gotta go. Let me give you three names, and then I'm gonna narrow it down to one, because you ain't asked me for three names. You said one.
Okay.
We had so much improvement on defense, giving up like 100 yards less per game. I'm going to start off with the block bully Chidozie I'm going to include Nikhil Hill Green in there, and I'm going to include BJ Green.
Okay.
Now, let me pick one from those three. And I'm not just going with game impact. I'm going with locker room impact. I'm going with leadership. I'm going with things, off the field as well when I pick this person.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the block bully. I'm going to go with the Joe Chidoze.
Okay.
Because I think what he was able to do on that line is his leadership in the locker room, and then battling back from an injury himself and still, making his way out there, getting invited to the Hula Bowl while he was out injured. Wasn't no bitching and moaning. He was another coach during the drills. No slight to Hill Green and BJ Green, but I think when you look at impact in the portal, bang for the buck, a guy that matches the culture, a guy that does it the way Coach Prime wants it done. Give me the block bully on that, man. Great question. Great damn question. Oh man, you made me feel like I was picking my favorite kid. Like I gotta put it back on you now. You tell me, who was your impact player on the portal?
You know what? So there were two kids before I even knew that I would be tied in with Colorado the way I am now. I helped two kids with their portal process, and two of them ended up in Colorado. One was Colson Hood, and one was Nikhil Hill Green. So this is almost like picking one of my two kids. But just on this year alone, I'm gonna go with Nikhil. And reason being, seeing how he performed, seeing what he did, seeing how he didn't pout when he didn't come out starting at the beginning of the season, seeing how he waited on his time, and seeing how he actually executed when he got that opportunity. They always say opportunity is what happens with preparation. Success is what happens with preparation meets opportunity. Well, that's why he had a successful year, to the point where he may have opportunity now to go play on the next level based on what he does, in some of these pre-draft processes. But when you talk about turning the ball over, when you talk about setting the tone on that second level, when you talk about being a sure tackler, when you talk about getting people fired up around him and not caring, throwing his body into people, I think he was the epitome of a Colorado linebacker and what the Buffaloes needed at the time. When he was inserted into the lineup, he was needed in the lineup. And he stepped up and he never relinquished that spot. I think that just says a lot about waiting on your time. So now he's one of those stories where he goes and tells people, hey, look, you go to Colorado, you wait. When your number is called, you better be ready. Because if you're ready, you'll be rewarded. And I think that's so fair. And I think it's important not only for the season that he had, but for the season of people coming forward and for players to come into the program, that he's a guy who I'm 1,000% is positive, that I'm positive, will call back and reach back into the program. He loves it there. Mm-hmm. So for culture fit and performance on the field, I'm gonna go with NHG.
Yeah, I love it. Can't argue with it. He was one of the three when you first made me, dig deep in this thing, man, and then you start thinking. Shout out to Wester on offense. One of the things when you just compare. We had a nice receiver core last year, and he did great things this year, man. His catch percentage of his targets, is well up there in the 90s. Just unbelievable. Preston Hodge, man, comes to mind. It's so many where the coaches just absolutely got it right, and that's one of the things that Coach Prime does that the cameras may not pick up on because it's 24 hours in a day, and we're only showing y'all a glimpse of it, whether it's the pregame show, Reach the People. Shout out to those guys, and shout out to Bucky over at Well Off. When he has his meetings with coaches and they kind of go through this SWOT analysis, if you will, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats of where we got it wrong, why did we get it wrong, and how do we not get it wrong on the next guy? Because what you want to do particularly when you got scholarships on the line, you got to get it right. And when you look at the transfer portal for Colorado last year, there was much more right than there was wrong. Like these guys came in and made a tremendous impact. You could really close your eyes and just draw straws, man, pick a name out of bowl because they all came in and did the damn thing.
Yeah, sure. 1,000%.
All right, I got one for you, brother.
All right.
This is CFP based, college football playoff based. You know, once upon a time we didn't have it, then we had 4. Now we're up to 12, and somebody still ain't happy.
Yeah.
You tell me, what's the message to the first guys out that didn't get in that's saying they should be there?
You gotta take care of business. You gotta handle your own business. Bama's probably the loudest fan base right now about not being in, but if they would have handled their business against the teams that they should have beat, then they would be in. Same thing, so one thing I could be proud about with Colorado fans as far as, just being proud of them as a whole is that, man, they took their L like a champ. And, they wore it. Like, you know what? We controlled our destiny. And then you had some that was tripping. I did a video about the ones that was tripping, but as a majority, and for the fan base now, even knowing that, things didn't break your way. But guess what? It's because you didn't beat Kansas. That's it. And you can't blame nobody for that but Colorado themselves. And they took it like real live champions. And so for my message to the ones who did not make the college football playoffs and felt like they should have the 3 lost teams is like, bro, don't lose 3 games. Like, do what you know what I mean? Do what you're supposed to do. You had an opportunity to. We talk about Alabama, and Alabama's fan base comes with such a sense of entitlement at times, where it's like, oh, well, how can you keep us out? Don't nobody care about that. I'm glad some of them, have to kind of take that on the chin. Same way Colorado had to take it on the chin. You didn't there was not even a question of a 3-win Colorado team getting in. 3-loss Colorado team getting in. There was never a question, but you didn't see people just. I'll tell you something. Overtime made a post yesterday and said, how did Colorado feel about being snubbed? And people was in the comments like, bro, we knew better. Like, don't insult our intelligence. Like, now you are literally, that is clickbait. You want somebody to get on here and just argue for no reason. Because Colorado fans knew, because they mature enough to know that, you made the improvement this year and now you're getting ready for next year. Well, there are some fan bases that don't have, the wherewithal to realize that, bro, this is your fault. Don't lose to Vanderbilt, bro. You want to go? Okay, now. You know what I'm saying? So that's my message. Like, man, stop. Don't leave it up. Don't if you want to be in the playoffs, don't leave it up to a debate. Make sure you handle your business. That's my message to those who didn't get in. What about you?
Man, all you need to do is hit tab, tab, tab. Make another line where I can sign on that same receipt right there, because you nailed it. It's just that simple, man. That's grown man responsibility, personal responsibility. Look in the mirror. I don't think anybody was snubbed. I don't think anybody was left out. I don't think there's anybody who's quote unquote first out like you have in the NCAA tournament. One thing we got to keep in mind: this ain't a tournament. This is a playoff. Like this, there ain't no real bubble. If you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to be in. I had a 40-minute conversation with Coach Prime yesterday. And in that conversation, we were just kind of recapping, the year, the season, what we need to work on. And I said, Coach, one thing we know right now that we didn't know this time last year. He said, what's that? I said, 9 wins ain't enough. Like it ain't. As impressive as 9 wins in college football in the Big 12, coming from the Big 12, it ain't gonna get us there. We have to improve some things, whether it's staff, players, equipment, custodians, cafeteria, film crew. I don't care who or what it is. We've got to improve some things that can find us another one, is maybe even 2 wins. Like, we got to be a 10 and 11 win program. I know from whence we came. Came from 1 and 11 before we got here, went to 4 and 8. Now doubled that to 8 plus 1 to 9. And the challenge to go from 9 to 11 is going to be just as big as the challenge was to go from 4 to 8 as it was to go to 1 from 4. But it's the reality of our situation. The Big 12 is not likely to ever have 2 or 3 people in the CFP 12. The only way to get in is to go to the Big 12 championship and win that. Yeah. And we see 9 don't cut that. And so just as much, I say that to answer my own question, just as much as I ain't over here crying about my situation, I don't care if you are Obama or whoever else back there. Man, we and dog got to do the same thing we had to do. And everybody that missed, whether it's us or them, at one point, the destiny of your season was in your hands and you failed. It's just that simple.
All right, Uncle Neely, I got it. You tell me right here. Now, hold on. You need to talk about that right there, Uncle Neely. What was it?
All right, we got a super chat popped up. Brent Massman, $90 super chat. Appreciate that love, brother. I'm a 25-year CU alum and diehard Bucs fan the entire time. So happy we're finally legit again, like back when I was there in the early 90s. Also stoked on Dukes, Unk, DMVR, Well Off Media, etc. Appreciate that love, Brent. Appreciate that $90. It helps us pay the bills around here because, you know, we don't travel these games for free. And we don't bring this content back for nothing. This stuff got a cost, so we appreciate that love. And hey, glad to be part of this restoration, this program back to the 90s and Cordell Stewart days and Michael Westbrook days. You know, you can just see it all over social media. Because, hey, dudes, keep this in mind, and keep this in mind, Brent. Out of all of college football, and there's a lot of college football out there, only one team had every single game nationally broadcast, and that was Coach Prime's Colorado Buffs.
Yeah, you're right about that. All right, I got to ask you, big dog.
Yes, sir.
So you go to the transfer portal, and you see schools from all over. Like I talked about a guy from Charleston Southern, Indiana, California, Washington State, wherever. But these kids come from about the same 4 states. When you look up and see where they're from, the main 4 culprits that you're going to see is going to be Georgia, Florida, Texas, California. When it comes to ranking, where you think the best high school football is, if you got to go recruit, I want you to rank those 4: Georgia, Florida, Texas, and California.
All right, let me do this first. I'm gonna do them and I'm gonna get them out the way by going number 1 first. And I'm gonna tell you why I think it's number 1. I'm going with Florida as 1, and it's because it's not just about football. Florida's weather, Florida's infrastructure, Florida's support system really supports year-round athletics. And so when you look at a guy that can play baseball, football, run track, play basketball, do all those things, no state really handled business at this point like a Florida does. So you can get a true athlete. You can get a guy that's been coached because he's played multiple sports and been exposed. So I'm going to go Florida. Texas is going to sound like the next obvious answer, but it's really a numbers things with Texas. You got so much money into high school football there that there's really a lot of dogs there. But I'm going Georgia second. And here's why I'm going Georgia, man. Georgia is a unique state because we think about Atlanta and the celebrities and the pro sports and, you know, all the nightlife and the happenings. But Atlanta is an anomaly. Georgia is still a southern state. It's muddy like Alabama and Mississippi. Like you still, most of the people in Georgia don't live in Atlanta. Most of the people in Georgia, just like Alabama and Mississippi, they're trying to get the hell out of there. So you got that hunger. You know, you got that hunger and drive of getting out the mud. So let me go with Georgia second. I'm gonna put Texas at 3, and I'm gonna go California for the same reason that I have Florida. But the reason they're down at 4 is California kids, when they come this way to school and play, they get homesick easy. They got a little degree. I don't want to call it soft, but maybe a little privilege, a little entitlement. Is it kind of a lack of a grimy there. It's more, you know, high speed stuff, skill stuff versus, you know, just hard hitting raw contact, just big boy pull your pants up. And what was my other state?
Oh, that was it. Now you named. I just had 4. I'll tell you.
Okay.
All right. Give me one.
Florida, Georgia, California.
So give me a 5th state that you think really play some good ball.
Honestly, man, I'm going to say I wouldn't sleep on Louisiana.
Yep.
I wouldn't sleep on Louisiana. You know, one of the reasons you have perennially seen LSU in there, and even they have a down year, don't have a down year, is they know how to recruit at home. They got what they call Louisianimals, and they go get them. So I'm gonna put Louisiana as some talent. You know, somebody was just talking about Dan, I think it was talking about the talent of the 90s that they had in Colorado. Keep in mind, Cordell Stewart came from a railroad right outside New Orleans. So it's some hunger there too. I want Dukes. I'm gonna tell you this before I kick it back to you.
Okay.
When I'm watching a boxing match and I don't know too much about the boxers and I hate to be stereotypical, I'm putting 100 on that one from the third world country. He don't want to go home. That one that's been training in Vegas 3 years. Hey dog, he comfortable. That one that came out the barrio, came out the gutters of the Philippines. He ain't trying to go home, dog. Like this, so he want it. So I'm gonna bet on hunger all the time. DMX said it. I'm gonna do like Hungry do and give me a hungry crew. And so I gave you my 100 things.
Man, you know what? First of all, you killed it with the bar. And then you're right, man, because sometimes like we used to bet like that too, especially when we was younger, be in a barbershop. Who you betting with? You're down to say the country before you say the name. Oh, yep. you know what that come with. And man, you know what? Like it's almost like a boxer from Pensacola, right? Like Roy Jones used to always say, man, it was a guy at Auburn, man. I believe his name. I forgot his name, dog. His hands were so good. He played ball, but man, he whooped everybody. D-linemen, linebackers, whatever. He was from Pensacola. He said, man, Pensacola is the reason our hands so good. That's the reason Florida got gun laws. I said okay. Hey, my boy. Hey, I forgot his name, man. But listen, I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Florida first. Reason being, and I'm gonna take this from a different perspective. I'm gonna do it because of the youth football. Florida.
That's not me. I said infrastructure.
Yep. You're right. I'm piggybacking because the way they set it up, what we saw early on, was we didn't have that in Atlanta. Like, where I played at in College Park, we never traveled. We played each other. Turkey ball, it was $35 to play, but we all played each other. Now there were places that traveled, but the infrastructure, like the kids from College Park, we didn't go play nobody else. Like not from College Park, major College Park. We stayed there. Now you had Old National, they was on the other side, which was cool. That's still the hood, just like the other side. But we all was in one right across from the projects. All of us played each other every year. And there was so much D1 talent that came out of there, but we all played each other. We didn't know nothing about traveling. We didn't know nothing about different uniforms. We didn't know nothing about that. There wasn't no cameras out there, nothing. So I think Florida kind of basically set they were the catalyst for youth football as far as spreading it. Now, from what I saw. Now, second, right now, I'm going to go with Texas. And the reason I'm saying this, because Texas, just going on straight, how many of those big cities, urban cities do you have? When you got a Houston and a Dallas that you can go recruit from, and these cities are huge. So just based on sheer numbers, if you lock me into a state, then I'm going to go Texas just because I know I can hit so many different places. Like you even got a little water in Texas down there by Galveston. So, usually people fast by the water. I don't care where it is. You by the water, I don't know what it is about the water, but it make people fast. Then third, I'm going to go Cali for the same reason. And the reason I'm doing that is because just like I said, sheer sheer volume of players because how big a state it is. And then fourth, I'm going to go Georgia. One, because I'm here. Secondly, because I know what's going on. And I know for a fact that in the recent years, especially the metro area, has went here when it comes to recruiting football. Like now the respect has come. Before it was the Valdosta's, it was the Loudoun County. And, we always dreaded going to South Georgia. But now South Georgia coming up here and going back on the bus. They say, so now the key word of Georgia is if you come up here to play, they say, y'all go stop at Buc-ee's. That means you're about to lose because you got to go a long way to get back home. So so now, and for those that don't know, it's and down here in the South, Buc-ee's is like this chain where it's like a Walmart super center of gas stations where they got everything. So they always say, and you only see them on the interstate. So that's what they say to the South Georgia teams when they got to come to Atlanta. But it's just Georgia being the area being so small. Now per capita, we got a different story because I think right now Georgia per capita has the most NFL players of any state, but that's per capita. But outside of that, but those are the reasons why I ranked it the way I did. So nobody can call me a homer. I want to show everybody some love.
Yeah, it's love for all of them, man. When you look at what a Oregon is doing with California players, but we got to keep in mind there's a lot of Nike money influencing that. and they're leaving California to go play at Oregon. And speaking of money, y'all keep eye on SMU. Y'all write it down this Monday night that Aunt told y'all. Y'all keep eye on SMU and what they about to do in college football. Like their money is right in the neighborhood of the school. Like the school is the money, and what they're going to be able to do. I mean, you just look at this Dukes, and this ties into states and recruiting. Like, so don't think we off subject. They joined the ACC and said keep the TV money.
We straight.
Yeah, like oh, we can't join because y'all don't want to split the TV money. Tell you what, next 10 years, keep the TV money. Y'all split it yourselves. We'll raise our own. And they raised $150 million that same afternoon. And then look where that got them in year one. That 150 finna become 300 million. It's like, and so that Texas you're talking about, and maybe that neighboring state, even the Louisiana I'm talking about, they finna be about the business and gobbling all that up, which is why it's so good for us with the prime effect. Like we go to Houston next year to play. We're about to play a bowl game, in Texas. So we're gonna be able to do our thing and make some noise there as well. But watch the money in college football as it relates to these states that are hotbeds and where they go to actually play, because a lot of times the money ain't necessarily in the state that they come from, but Texas and SMU gonna have that upper hand, just like Texas and Texas A&M have in the past before NIL, because they were doing NIL before anybody else was doing NIL.
Yeah, what you talking about, man?
That's why Saban retired, because now everybody can do it. Let me get on out the game.
Yeah, man. Hey, they better not sleep on that Pony Express now. I saw the 30 for
30. Yeah, they were doing it back then. So they already got the blueprint. They already got the blueprint. Man, it has been You Tell Me with Uncle Neely and Phillip Dukes, man, brought to you by Game Time. Shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Use that code BUFFS. We're going to take $20 off your first purchase. Man, I wish we could take $20 off every one of your purchases, but we definitely going to take it off the first. You trying to go to the Alamo Bowl or any bowl game, you trying to see a comedy show, you just trying to get in where they say you can't get in, go to Game Time. You'll be able to see your seats. No hidden fees when you get at the end where you think you're paying $30 for something, $9.75. You're going to know all that up front just by using Game Time. And you can let them know You Tell Me sent you. Phillip Dukes, y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel. This is the first night where we're broadcasting on all three. I think we got up to about 1,300 watching live. Y'all make sure y'all hit the thumbs up. I don't know why you sit there and watch and don't hit the thumbs up and don't hit the bell for notifications. But subscribe to both channels. Our super producer, Big Dog Chico's in the background. That's how you see all those graphics popping up on the screen. We live on Deuce the Scoop channel. We live on Pregame Network. We're coming back every Monday. Deuce, give us something, man. Take us out with a word, man. You always put something on their spirits.
Man, you know what, man? I just want to say, first of all, I want to give a shout out to the Miles Davis Clothing Company, man. They big Colorado fans. They sent me this dope shirt. Just want to give a shout out to them. And, man, listen, man, put your best foot forward every time, because you never know when you'll get a chance to put that foot forward again. So every time you get a chance, put your best foot forward. That's the word for the week.
I love that word. You never regret doing your best. Mine for y'all out there is one of my favorite quotes. Comes from my man, Frederick Douglass. He said, in life, you may not get what you pay for, but you will pay for everything that you get. Big dog. Let's bounce.
That's too tough.
I can't figure this out. Like help me out. I'm trying to understand, dude. What the hell is going on?
Damn.
So that's the name of this
tell me.
You tell me. You tell me. You tell me. You tell me. You tell me. You tell me. You tell me. You tell me. Live on Mondays. You tell me. Live on Mondays. You tell me. Live on Mondays. You tell me.